I got to do this video. This isn't, finance, silver, gold, collapse of the, economy. This is something that I have to bring up from time to time. In that time, at least right now, another one of those times, I should say. Jason Ip4's list of things you should have. Precious metals to save your financial livelihood when the day comes. Protection to protect your family. Whether that's, Second Amendment's always good, right to bear arms. Food storage for at least a few months. Freeze-dried, dehydrated, that kind of stuff. And again, I've added one from long ago when I used to only include those three. And that new one, which not really new if you've been following me for the last 2 years, absolutely clean, filtered, highly filtered water. We had Flint, Michigan, which they're going to discuss in this article here. Michael Snyder at the Economic Collapse blog. Keep talking about this. You cannot trust it. Oh, well, mine's on well water. I'm fine. Says who? How do you know if you're deep down that well and it ultimately ties to an aquifer somewhere, and the aquifer is, 300 miles wide under your state? How do you know that there's not stuff getting in there? Whether it's from drilling, fracking, oil, anything, whatever the reason is. Massive, farm area where they're using Monsanto's, horrible chemicals and genetically modified crap. All the weed killers getting down. How do you know? You don't. And then, of course, we have city water. Oh, city water's safe. City water's safe. The county deals with it, and they've got tests and stuff. Oh, really? Again, do I need to remind you of Flint, Michigan? There was also a county or a city in California, and a subscriber/friend of mine said, we used to live there. Jason Ip. We used to live there, my wife and I, he said. And we did get a filter, and I've been having that filter. And when my wife saw that on the news, I kind of looked at her like, hey, guess it was a good idea that we got this old filter after all, huh? Because they didn't know. And that's the thing. These things go on for years. And then all of a sudden a news story comes out. They find it and, oh, what? The governor or the mayor or whoever, they knew for how long? This has been going, oh my God, right, you're up in arms. I'm going to sue, and good luck. Get in line. You have to take matters into your own hands. The food you eat, of course. The water, the fluids you drink. I keep saying this. I went on, and I'm going to go there right now. I'm going to show you the exact reverse osmosis system that I happen to have gotten. Why does this look so different all of a sudden on Amazon? Orders. Give me 1 second. We'll pull this up because I want to show you. Osmosis. Search for osmosis. Got the filters. There it is. I'm going to click on this one. Okay, so here's the view. Ready for the view? So, APEC, top tier alkaline mineral pH plus 75 GPD 6 stage ultra safe reverse osmosis drinking water filter system. 367 reviews, 4.5 stars, of course, on nearly 5, which technically is 4.7 out of 5. This is unbelievable. I'm not throwing anybody a bone here, but this is not a promotion. No, I'm just showing you what I got. APEC system. You got 1, 2, 3 filters, 4, 5, and then the 6th one. And I think the 6th one puts like some kind of minerals back in the water. Let me go back up. 6 stage, first stage, second. Coconut shell carbon, 6 stage. Calcite acidic water neutralization 10-inch adds calcium carbonate to increase water alkalinity, which is good. Higher alkaline water, actually. So, again, just that's all you got to search for. APEC 6 stage reverse osmosis. That's it. It'll come up. Yeah, it's $236. Oh, it's a kind of a big chunk. I understand. But does it matter when you're drinking filth and getting cancer and all this other crap from the water and the things that we drink that we think and even expect, and we should be able to expect, that it's safe for human consumption, only to find out it's not. And someone dropped the ball. Or they knew they couldn't do any better, so they just didn't tell anybody. And when we moved to this new house, which is on complete well water, septic, etc., the whole 9 yards, this reverse osmosis system, you can bet your sweet bottom, is coming with me and it will be used over there. So, on to the article. To just show you, I got to talk about this sometimes, and, this is why. Environmental nightmare. Dozens of highly toxic substances have been found in tap water all over America. After reading this article, you will never look at tap water the same again. Most Americans have generally assumed that the water coming out of our taps is perfectly safe, but the Flint, Michigan water crisis and other similar incidents are starting to help people to understand that there are some very dangerous substances in our water. In particular, I'm talking about things like arsenic, lead, atrazine, percolate, and a whole host of pharmaceutical drugs, of course. According to an absolutely stunning NRDC report, close to 77 million Americans receive their water from systems, quote, that violated federal protections, end quote, in 2015. And even if you get your water from a system that meets federal standards, that still does not mean that is safe. Let's start by talking about arsenic. Earlier today, I came across an article that talked about how levels of arsenic in the water at some schools in the San Joaquin Valley, is that what that is? Exceeded the maximum federal safety levels by as much as 3 times. Reef Sunset Unified School District Superintendent David East is worried about the water, not because of the drought. Record rains this past winter ended 5 years of dry times. Rather, East, whose district encompasses the very small towns of Avenal and Kettleman City on the San Joaquin Valley's west side, is worried about the safety of the water that the 2,700 students in his school district are being given to drink. That's because arsenic levels in the drinking water at some schools in the valley exceeded the maximum federal safety levels by as much as 3 times. And arsenic is not the only threat to school children. High levels of pesticides, nitrate, bacteria, and naturally occurring uranium also contaminate groundwater in many rural parts of the state. The International Agency for Research on Cancer says that arsenic is a Group 1 carcinogen, and if you get too much of it in your system, it can kill you. Sadly, the EPA has estimated that 36 million Americans are drinking tap water that contains dangerous levels of arsenic. In addition to arsenic, a very nasty pesticide known as atrazine is often found in tap water supplies. Following information about atrazine comes from the NRDC. This endocrine disrupting chemical is one of the most commonly detected pesticides in U.S. waters. NRDC studies have found its contamination is most common in drinking water across the Midwest and the southern United States. Perchlorate is another very dangerous substance that is commonly found in our drinking water. And according to the same study, perchlorate has been discovered in water supplies in at least 26 states. Oh, so half the states in the U.S. At least 26 states. This widespread toxic chemical used in rocket fuel, explosives, and road flares can interfere with thyroid hormone production. Perchlorate has been detected in the water in at least 26 states, yet there is no federal standard for its presence in drinking water. Of course, lead in the drinking water has been, or lead in the water has been getting a tremendous amount of attention because of what happened in Flint, Michigan. The lawsuits that will come out of this could take decades to resolve. Do you want to just sit back and sue and wait and pay a lawyer only to find out decades later you get nothing? You had to go to the hospital. I want my hospital bill paid. Nope. There wasn't enough money in the lawsuit. City of Flint, whatever, Michigan, essentially declared bankruptcy, insolvency. Have a nice day. all could be saved if you just drank the water that you filtered at your home. And you could even get, you know, those little Yeti cups, which again, I got one. I don't even know what the name brand is. I don't have it in front of me. I got two for like 20-something bucks, I think, at Costco. You know, it's like a stainless steel looking cup, and it's got the double, triple, whatever insulation inside. You put ice water or whatever in it, and it lasts like all day. It's cold. You could take that sucker, fill it up, take it to work. You know, drink it in the morning, drink it for lunch, whatever, during lunch. Flint's water problems began in 2014, April, that is, when the city, in an attempt to save money, he needs money, switched the town's water source from Lake Huron to the Flint River. In the switch, officials failed to add a $200 per day anti-corrosion agent that would coat the city's antiquated pipes. The omission would prove disastrous as lead from the pipes began to leach into the water that flowed out of the tap, endangering thousands of children. Officials asserted it was safe to drink, above the outcry of residents who suspected the brown, odorous water was in fact contaminated. Let me just say something as a person, as a father, as a damn parent. Matter of fact, as a human being that has at least a piece of his brain in his head. If I turn on water and it's got a brown color and an odorous smell to it, there's not a chance in hell I'm going to drink it. Anyways, the first outbreak of Legionnaire's disease, a serious type of pneumonia caused by Legionella bacteria, hit by summer. According to the Water Crisis Interim Investigation Report released last week, Lyon and others knew about outbreaks for nearly a year before the public was, of course, notified and an emergency was declared. In all, 12 people died from Legionnaire's disease, though residents suspect there may be other victims who were never tested for the bacteria, who also died, of course. But Flint is far from alone. In fact, this week there have been headlines about serious problems with lead in the water in Chicago. Wherever there are old pipes, lead in the water is potentially a massive problem. On top of everything else, our water systems are becoming increasingly polluted by pharmaceutical drugs. An EPA study actually found traces of more than 24 pharmaceutical drugs in more than half of the water systems that were tested around the country. And it's all just, especially with the whole EPA stuff, FDA, genetically modified foods, chemicals, Roundup, all this crap. This all goes back to why are we sick? Why are health insurance so expensive? Because 5% of the population accounts for more than 40% of your high increased premiums. 5% of the population is super, super, super sick. So how do we stop people from getting sick? Here's an idea. Make the entire food industry sell only food. Not food with chemicals and crap and stuff in them. But if we have a percentage of one chemical, that's allowed. And you know what else is allowed? That same percentage of another chemical. And that same percentage of another one. And another one down. And another one down. They keep going. Because they're all under that little percentage. The next thing you know, there's all kinds of chemicals in your food. But they're under the fraction of a percent. So we're covered. Why is there any? You want to get people, you want healthcare costs to come way down? Problem solved. Fix the food. Fix the whole food industry. But that's not going to happen. Lobbyists, no. So we're going to remain sick, and we're going to get sicker. And now, again, pharmaceuticals, put on your TV, is Bozo Zozo right for you? Ask your doctor if Bozo Zozo is right for you. There's a drug for anything. Anything you can imagine, including this stuff that never even existed that they had to give names for, just to say, do you suffer from, such and such? Some new thing comes out. Do you suffer from that? Oh, I have that problem. Yeah. So now we have all these pharmaceuticals polluting because people pee in the shower. You got to use the bathroom, of course, or peeing in the shower. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. It all gets back to us one way or the other, and the treatment plants get it, and the water plant, and they do their thing, and then they give it right back to us. And again, trace amounts of the stuff is coming back. Not only do you have lead and all these chemicals in that respect, we have the pharmaceutical crap coming back in. You've got to get a filter. And I'm telling you, a reverse osmosis filter is a very, 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 very fine filtration system, because it goes down to like the, micron level of filtering. It's unbelievable. And you change the filters out. Honestly, they say do it every year. You could probably get by every 2 years. The filters cost like $9,900. At least the one I've got, I'm getting 6 filters. What do you expect, right? So I waited a year and a half, and then we got them, and I just put them in recently. You've got to do something and take this into your own hand. You are going to just, drink this crap until you're the next cancer patient victim. And now you're costing, $10,000 treatments, and my healthcare goes up and their healthcare goes up. Everyone's healthcare goes up because we're all sick, and there ain't enough money to fix all this. And what's their treatment? Take these pharmaceuticals. So the treatment is take these pharmaceuticals, which then gets back in the water, which then makes us sick still. Like, see where this is going? This cannot even kind of end well. Anyways, so the study conducted by the EPA, it is the largest study of water coming out of wastewater treatment plants. It looked at samples from 50 large-sized wastewater treatment plants nationwide and tested for 56 drugs, including oxycodone, high blood pressure medication. Again, high blood pressure and diabetes and stuff. Not talking about if you were born with diabetes. Most of that stuff, again, change your diet. Completely curable. High blood pressure medications and over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol and ibuprofen. More than half the samples tested positive for at least 25 of the drugs monitored, the study said. High blood pressure medications appeared in the highest concentrations and most frequently. We were surprised to find that many drugs occurring across all the wastewater plants, said Mitchell Kostich, the EPA research biologist who led the study. We were also surprised to see so many drugs of a particular class. The high blood pressure medications appear at those levels across the board. So those that drink tap water coming from these polluted systems are actually ingesting small amounts of dozens of different pharmaceutical drugs every single day. Every day I'm shuffling. No wonder so many of us are walking around like zombies. So how did all of the drugs get into the water? According to the investigation, the drugs get into the drinking water supply through several routes. Some people flush unneeded medication down the toilets, actually. I don't need this. I don't want to throw it in the trash. Just flush it down the toilet. Other medicine gets into the water supply after people take medication, absorb some, and pass the rest out in urine or feces. Some pharmaceuticals remain even after wastewater treatments and cleansing by water treatment plants, the investigation showed. Are you starting to understand what an environmental nightmare we're facing? But in addition to everything that you just read, many water systems around the country actually add toxic substances to the water supply on purpose. Of course, the most prominent example, and you know this one, is fluoride. We are told that fluoride reduces cavities, even though this has never been scientifically proven. But what we do know is that fluoride is a highly dangerous neurotoxin that can have a very serious impact on early childhood development. And we also know that fluoride can cause a condition known as fluorosis. Not flowers, no. And the introduction of fluoride into our water systems has coincided with a dramatic rise in fluorosis all over the nation. In fact, more than half the children in the entire country have now been affected. According to research presented in the April 2017 National Oral Health Conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 57% of youth between the ages of 6 and 19 years have dental fluorosis, a condition in which your tooth enamel becomes progressively discolored and mottled, according to data from 2011 to 2012. In addition, studies have shown that fluoride can also contribute to cancer, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and neurodegenerative disease. Because of such overwhelming scientific evidence, fluoride in the water has already been completely banned in many industrialized countries. And if I end up in Washington, because he's running for Senate, I believe, I will push for a complete national ban on fluoride in the water in the United States. All of us should be able to agree that we need to do whatever we can to keep the water that we are drinking clean and safe. But until we can get this done, I would encourage everyone to either filter their drinking water or get it from a source they know is pure. By drinking such polluted water, we are literally poisoning ourselves and our children, and we have no choice but to get this problem fixed. And since you know who we're relying on to fix the problem, big old government, I wish you lots of luck. You'll be dead before anything meaningful happens. Get your stuff under control yourself. And by the way, they make little 3-stage filters. And to give you an idea, again, for those who are economically in mind, keep them in mind. Reverse osmosis water filtration system. 187. It's a 6-stage also from iSpring. And then there's a 5-stage. There's a 5-stage for 150. I just searched in Amazon reverse osmosis water filtration system because that kind of helped me, auto populate. 181, 169. There's a few. I mean, they're here. 119, 5-stage by Aquilotio, $119.99. 5-stage reverse osmosis system. Come on. You've got to do something about this. Take care.